Hi, this is Alan Gleason for Crossfadr, and in this video we're going to look at NUGEN's SEQ-S EQ plugin. It's a high-resolution linear phase spline EQ, and it comes in two formats: surround, supporting up to 7.1, and a stereo version, which is what we'll be using today, supporting stereo and mid-side processing. So the interface is very straightforward. You've got a utility section at the top, you've got our main direct draw area in the middle, and we've got a control and processing section at the bottom. So all these little points here allows us to draw the particular curve that we want to draw in. Now you can set the scale of these points using our banding here. So you've got a 1/3 per octave option. You've got a 1/6 per octave option. You've got one that's set at chromatic intervals, kind of very fine resolution there. And you've got 3 psychoacoustically derived scales based on how the human ear actually hears frequency intervals. So all pretty useful. I'm going to leave it on chromatic because it gives us the finest resolution. So I can draw in my particular curve. Got an A-B option at the top here, so I can copy A to B. I can flick over to B if I wanted to try a variation on that. And then I can A-B between the two. I'll just actually reset it. In our advanced section here, which we can turn on and off, we've got options for a match EQ and a morph EQ. So we'll look at the match EQ to start off with. Now, on another track here in Ableton, I've got a drum loop playing, and I'm going to use that as my match, the source that I'm actually going to match to. So this is the loop that I want to apply the EQ curve to on our first track. I'm going to match from another track. Now on this other track, I've got a plugin that comes with the SEQ-S that sends, it's a send plugin that will send the audio from that other track into this track. So I'm going to record from that other track. So I've captured, I'll save that. And I want to apply it to this current snapshot here, or this current sound that we're actually listening to. I've got a spectrum analyzer there showing the frequency response, and then I'll save that. And I'll hit match. Now you can see we're peaking there, so I can adjust my trim at the bottom here. So that's a before and after. I can also adjust the depth of the processing, or just the EQ band itself. So on some EQ plugins, this is called a range, so I can boost that or pull it down if I want it to be more subtle. And I can also adjust the sharpness of the curve. So by reducing that, I'll just give it a bit more range or a bit more depth. And I can affect the sharpness. We've also got a morph option that I can morph between two EQ curves. These can either be stored in your A and your B, or they can be derived from the match EQ setting. And I can morph between these in seconds, or I can also set the time base to BPM and set the length for it. So it's just doing a single change. I can do a return, so forward and back, and I can also just have it in a loop. And make these a bit more extreme. From my A1, I could adjust my high pass filter and go into my B, and I'll do a low pass filter on that one. So many useful applications, both in practical terms and in terms of sound design functionality with this feature. So I'll turn off the Morph EQ and I'll reset to get back to our beginning. So I'll just turn off my advanced controls, and I'll just do some regular EQ on our signal here. Adding some boost there. Do some high end. So we've got zones here. So I can, when that zone is activated, I can protect a particular area. Just made a mistake there, so I'll undo. And I'll pull in the upper band. So now if I try to EQ outside of this, nothing can happen. It allows me to have a protected zone in here that I can affect. I can also set this to exclude. So it means now that I can't EQ that by accident, and then I can work on my EQ curve outside here. In SEQ-S, you've got 3 channels of EQ. So the first one is on and is inactivated. And so I'll just turn on the second one, turn it on. It's got a different color here. So a minute we're not hearing any change there because it's not actually assigned. So if we go into my assign section here, you can see that currently the first channel is assigned to process left and right. So I can maybe just assign that to process only the mid, and I'll have the second channel only process the side. So I'm EQing the side a lot there. You can kind of hear it getting a bit wider, processing the hi-hats and some of the general ambience. And because we've got our zones still turned on here, if I try to EQ in this area, this is still protected. That only allows me to edit in here. And then if I wanted to, I could turn on my third channel and assign that to maybe do both the left and the right. So I can see my meters along the side here by reflecting what I've got activated. I can see the volume for the left, the right, the mid, and the side. Let's tweak my trim there. So above the meters, we've got our analysis. So you can see in the background there, we've got a spectrum analyzer. Now this can be, let's turn off my zone there just so we have a clearer view here. So you can see the color coding for each of the 3 channels that we're actually working on. And so the analysis can be set to pre. So you can see before processing, or when it's not activated, it's post, or the spectrum analyzer is showing what's happening after the processing. Turn on bands. The spectrum analyzer is split up into bands depending on what we have our banding set to here. So if I set this to something like thirds, you can see now it's updated. So it's just seeing a representation of 1/3 per octaves. And I can change the colors of the bands for more clear resolution. You can also resize the plugin if I want to. I can just drag the corner here, make the overall plugin a lot bigger. And if I want to focus in on a particular area, I can zoom along the frequency domain. And I can also, if you wanted to say limit the area that you're EQing so that it didn't go above say plus or minus 3 dB, you can lock that there. Just put a scroll lock on there. So it allows you to do just fine adjustments in this area. So unlock that and I'll just control click there to reset our EQ. So overall, a very powerful EQ, offers something alternative to the regular type parametric or graphic EQs. Very powerful match function. And the morph function can be used to do some interesting sound design or create dramatic transitions. So this has been Alan Gleason for Crossfadr. If you like this video, click on a like and click on subscribe to keep updated on our latest videos. Any comments, leave them below, and we'll catch you again next time.